All right, we're back. I spent quite a bit of time last night. I know it doesn't look much, but everything was hand sanded 320 wet. Got a real nice finish. I got rid of all the high and low spots I could possibly find. You will see them. If you spend the time, you can sand them out. You're not going to see any because I sanded them out. Took me about an hour, hour and a half by hand. Wear gloves or you will sand your fingertips to the bone. Even just gloves, the little nitrile or the gloves help. So I sanded that just in here real good and just get real good in there, and you can see it in here like that with the wet sand as good as you get. Now this project, your corners are as good as how much time you put into them. If you don't put any time into corners, they're not going to look good. You spend a ton of time on them, they're going to look fabulous. I spent a ton of time on them, they look fabulous. I started with like a medium size, actually smaller than that. I started with this size in here, and basically because I already know that the large sanding tool that I use here, it cannot get into that corner. It just can't do it. So especially this area right in here, it can't really get in there. So I went about an inch in, and I started with the red rogue. I know I said I was going to go white, but for the corners I went with red. I've just polished enough stuff. The red really will cut a lot better. White really only kind of polishes it, like a final polish. The red really will cut some of the metal a lot better. So I started with this, and when it was done, it ended up like this. And as you go through it, you'll load up your piece with the Rogue, and you'll put it on. It won't start to come off. The bit gets clogged. I just have a wire wheel, and I would just run it across here, and that would like re-clean it for me. So you'll need a little wire brush or something to kind of clean it. And as you can see, it became a fine point. It started square, and that really helps get in your corners. So as soon as that was done, that took me. Oh, that one was the longest one because you were really cutting the metal. You could see it starting to cut it and smooth out some of the fine scratches that were in there. I don't know, probably an hour and a half just on the red, but that really did it. And then I switched over to white in this bigger bit, and then that was quicker. I mean, it wasn't nearly as long. You just kind of do the big sections. Obviously, that's so big, it's not going to get in the final corners. So for the final corners, like just real quick, this probably only took 10 minutes where you were just doing where that big one couldn't get, and that was white as well. So that's it. So that's done. And I did these blind holes too. So that's gonna be that for right now. The next thing I'm gonna do is start working on these. You don't have to, but I just liked it. I can work this corner right here, in here. I'll go around do that, and then I will probably switch over to this and get inside here because that's a pain in the butt. And then I'll use this for like in here or maybe touch up out here. Actually, this one's pretty good for out there. So the perimeter, and this is just kills your air compressor. This stuff is a lot more boost. I'm going to go straight to white for these. I don't think I need to cut as much. So again, it's just time and time and time. So yeah, I probably had 3 hours in the corner. I had an hour 15 wet sanding. I had an hour 15 in the red rogue and probably another hour 15 in the white rogue in the corners. But they look really good. And like I said, it's about how much time and effort you want to make it look good and professional. So we'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like after I've done the corners. Okay, it's all finished. It took quite a bit of time. It's not real quick. Probably about 4 hours from the last video, honestly. I run that compressor a little bit. I mean, I don't count that. I'm talking about work time. But use various tools. It just depends on, I bought a kit. It's your wheel, this wheel specific. I mean, every wheel is going to be a little bit different. I found this guy to be your quarter angle grinder to be very, very useful. In fact, this is how you get in here. I went straight to white everywhere except in here. I did red here. This still had a little few grooves, and that red got it right out, and then went back to white and polished that up. So that gets in there real good. You can go that way or that way, and then of course, so again, this is the easiest part of the wheel. It really is. This baby just loved doing this. This spot right here, this spot right here. You can get in these corners. It loves this. here. I used it in here, didn't do that well, but it was okay. Then I went to this. This did a lot better job, and I actually used red in here because it's so hard to get in there. It's visually, you don't see it as much, but I still want to do a good job. So I did red in here, and then all the way around, and then actually I did red on the spokes too. I wanted to bring that down to finer shine, and I came back with the white with this cone, and then I just did here. When it was all said and done, this, I don't have anything that can get this in here. This doesn't get it at all. So I ended up coming with a Dremel with a white tip pad about yay size, and then I redid that, and then that brought that to life. So that's pretty much it. It looks good. I'm happy with what it ended up being. It's a real nice shine. Like I said, your corners is as much time as you want to spend in there. I mean, you can see if you get real close. I mean, it's not perfect, but honestly, if you were wanting 100% perfection, I would say probably getting it tumbled would be your ideal. This is, in my opinion, this is 95, 96%. So I'm cool with that. That's an A. And I'm going to show you a couple more videos or pictures. We're going to go outside just so you can see it. So we're in the garage here. So we'll come in. There's the other one I already did, the first one. So just some visuals, just some ideas what they may look like. And then we'll take them out, put them in the sun, so you can see what they look like in the sun. You got it out of the shadow.
I can't see what I'm doing.
There you go. Looks pretty good. Okay, and then this would be on the back side of sun. What they look like. All right, then you have your back side of sun in the shade. And a nice deep reflection. And then you have your in the sun, in the shade. Kind of gives you what idea what it will look like in all different types of. So again, I'm real happy with how they turned out. It's an immense amount of work. I think I calculated 18 hours for this, for one wheel, including stripping. So, I mean, it is a ton of work, but I do a couple hours at a time, and I'm happy, and it's gonna look good, and I think they're paying off. I really like these wheels. I've had a couple different sets of wheels, and these seem to be my favorite that I had. I had originally had set a polished center lines, and unfortunately they weren't large as I needed them to be, and those were polished, and they were just a nightmare to keep up. And that'll bring me to my last point here is care and just taking care of polish. You never want to drive in any type of water. Water and aluminum just hate each other. That's the first thing that's going to destroy them. Obviously salt, no. So I'm going to end up using a Meguiar's wax on these. It's good. It's the Meguiar's NXT 2.0 wax. Seems to be a good wax that they use, and I'm going to wax them and keep it. But now that I know how to polish them and I have the tools, I can, with them on the car, I can, you know, bust out that cone and just go around the wheel almost instantly, and not even fool with you know, all the mothers and the Powerball and all that garbage. I can just whiz wheel these in 5 or 10 minutes a piece and have them right back to full luster again. So pretty happy with that. So I'm going to keep them waxed. That should keep them good for a couple months at a time. And then if you're able to, you can store these babies for winter, which is what my real plan is. That way, for 6 months out of the year, well, depending on where you live, here in Ohio, it's winter 9 months out of the year. So that'll just keep them in a nice temperature controlled environment, and that will just keep them that much less oxidation for them to go down. So those are two. I'll slowly but surely do all 4 of them and get these on the car, and that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned a few things, and that's it.